Okay, thank you for joining me, Hard Talk Radio Live. Um, we are reviewing the movie They Cloned Tyrone. I'm a little late, but better late than never, right?
Yeah, it's
So
cool. It's cool.
yeah, so it did that was that movie pretty tough or what?
At first, I was like, "Damn!" It's like Jamie Foxx is doing black exploitation movies. I'm like, "Oh man, I'm disappointed." Then I heard about this new girl's gonna be in. They cloned Tyrone, and the way her acting role. I'm like, "Damn, man!" I thought this was gonna be a good movie. It's gonna be like a cheesy one. But then after I gave it some time, it's like, "Damn!" I mean, it had some good points. You know?
Listen, the code, it's not even in code, it's just right there in your face. Everything is right
Yeah.
there in your face. So
Right.
even from the very beginning, like I took some notes down. Um, the very first shot uh, was the billboard, and what did the billboard said? It said something real profound. Keep them smiling is what the billboard said. Keep them smiling, right?
Yeah.
It's
Keep them
like almost
entertained.
like, hmm,
Keep them entertained.
yeah, yep, yep. While we do our mess behind the scenes, yep,
Right. Right.
yep.
Like keep
Keep
them
them happy
distracted.
and jolly and with foolishness, right?
Right. Keep them entertained. Don't have them, don't have them thinking, don't have them thinking at all.
Hmm.
Don't have them trying to ask critical questions. Like I was saying, like I was always having this conversation about like the Democrat and the Republican. Don't have them questioning that. If they even try to, want to have their own leaders, discredit them, have them thinking those leaders are not good for you. We are the ones in charge, kind of like with Tariq Nasheed, like he's just an entertainer, but for some reason blacks want to lift him up, and he basically screwed him over, and they still trusting him. And it's like I see it sometimes with Dr. Umar. Like Dr. Umar has been saying he got a school, and it's been decades, and he's doing all types of foolishness in between, showing you that he's not competent to be a leader. But for some reason, blacks are still pushing him up, pushing him up, pushing him up. But you have people like King Randall. He don't get no type of attention in the black community, but all of a sudden Umar Johnson, he always gets all the attention, all the accolade. And it's weird. I mean, they have the community program, the urban poor, not, because that's another thing they have you focusing on too. They always have you focusing on the poor black community when there's other communities out there that are rich. Okay. They don't let you know that.
Yeah.
You can look up the top 10
Well,
rich
there's a
black
lot of
communities.
rich black people, and there's a lot of black people who are doing the work, the roll your sleeves up work, but they don't get
Right.
the accolades. They don't have the followers.
Right.
And we never hear about them unless somebody brings them up to the forefront, and even then we don't celebrate that stuff. We it's like a lot of foolishness. Like if you look at even YouTubers who have millions of followers, they're not doing anything to uplift or help people or alleviate a lot of the problems in our community.
Right.
It's not really, it's not really getting them anywhere. It's just all entertainment. So keep them smiling is a very that's a very profound code in that movie. And for it to be the first shot is just really that much more profound. Now the next point, when was this set? Because I recognize some of those old cars. I said, shoot, I was a little kid when that car was out, and it looked the 70s, but I couldn't really tell. Can you tell when it was set in?
Basically, I was looking up the movie on decider.com, and they were telling us that it's basically in the present day, but they have that 90s, kind of that exploitation type of feel. All right, to the era. That's what the director wanted it. Like basically, it's in our time, but it's kind of it could be any I guess event, because they're talking about Bitcoin, they're talking about you know
That's true.
all
That's
types of
true.
stuff like that.
You know what? And I think about it, when you go down south, those guys drive those old cars. Because
Right.
even here in LA, old cars is like it's like a culture. Old cars, that whether it's the Vatos with the 40s culture,
Mm-hmm.
or the Chevy Impalas with on the hydraulics,
Mm-hmm.
and which they showed that at the end of the movie, when they zoomed over to Los Angeles. But yeah, so that was confusing to me, because I said that Grand Prix. I said I remember that when I was a little kid.
Yeah, I'm looking
And
at those cars. They look kind of old. I'm like, yo, what's going on here? Like, but then they have cell phones, and then they got
that's
um
true.
different types of things that so it's like back and forth because Jamie Foxx character Slick is talking about 9/11, and you can't be this movie can't be set too far back because 9/11 will happen in the early 2000s.
That's true.
So
But then
what
that's another layer to it. So these
right,
people are behind. They're
right,
behind. It's like because they got flip phones. I
right.
mean, you know what I'm saying? So it's like that's another thing. They're not up with the times. And like you said, when the girl was talking about Bitcoin and stuff like that, you Bitcoin, this, that, and the other. You don't want to hear nothing about no, you know what I'm saying? Not figuring out what's going on in the financial sector is that's another layer to it. You know,
Right.
just behind, is a good way to put it. And then I noticed that the school was broke down and busted in about the first scene when the little kid was in the car
Mhm.
going to take him to the other drug dealer. The school was all busted. Windows was busted out and stuff. Like, does anybody go to school? You know? And then the license plate said a swell place. It's just so big. It's not even code in this movie. It's just in your face. You really can't even. What sorts of things stood out to you?
Well, the thing is, what stood out to me when you just said that, who knows? Maybe that could be what it's going to be like in a couple of years. I mean, with this Agenda 2030, it could be like that. Like you can't afford new cars, so you have to hook up these old cars, and it's probably going to look like the 70s. You know, it could
Yeah,
be that could be the future of these
yeah.
urban poor black communities.
But
That
the
could,
thing about it is, like I said, it's a culture driving those old cars with those big old rims.
mhm,
So it could very well be in 2023. Because like I said, you go to certain parts of the country in the South and stuff, you'll see that.
mhm.
You'll see those old cars, Monte Carlos and stuff like that.
Doing the soup up cars, the cars that look like they hop when they go by.
The
Yeah,
hydraulics, that's
yeah.
that's a California thing, but yeah, back there they do drive those old 80s and 90s cars. So, and sometimes like here in LA, the 60s, the old cars, like the 60s Chevy Impalas and stuff like that. And if you're talking about like some people, you'll see avid car collectors like Jay Leno, you'll
Mhm.
see a Model T Ford. You'll see like really, really, really classic cars that have to be upkept and stuff like that because they have, with them shooting movies out here and stuff. They have people have an array of vehicles, and that's a hobby to restore vehicles too for a lot of men here. So
Yeah, because actually, look, you mind if I read this part right here from the cider about explaining what time it is, timeline it is?
go ahead.
Okay, so it says they clone Tyrone takes place in modern day, despite the fact that many of the costumes and production design feel like the 90s or earlier. Character references to bitcoins and blockchains and use smartphones, suggesting that this is a modern era. In the interview for the film's production notes, director Jewel Taylor said he intentionally played with the viewer's sense of time. It's not a period piece, but when you go certain places, it feels like you're in a different period. So
Hmm.
I wanted the Glen to just be out of space and time. Taylor
Yep,
said
yep,
this could be
that's
in any
true.
city, anywhere. Yeah,
That's true, because some places you go in this country, they are very behind. You would think that they don't have a TV, they don't have newspaper, they don't have any way of knowing what year it is. Like they are behind, and that's very true.
yeah. I heard like when it came to like slavery ending, there are certain parts of the South that kept that type of information away. So slavery didn't end for certain
Hmm.
parts of the South until like maybe the 60s.
Yeah, for like a year or two later. But some people will just they were set in that mind frame, and just the mindset too. The mindset is very much like that as well. So that's a very interesting dynamic to the film. Um, and I also noted how the boy in the car was immune to the violence when Fontaine ran the drug dealer over. Like he was like just, oh, okay.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you see something happening over and over again, you get desensitized to it. It's like watching a horror movie. You keep watching it. You see how many people get shot and killed in gruesome ways. After a while, it's like you're numb to it.
Yeah, yeah,
So
that's true. That's very
that's
true.
just yeah. I mean, that's just the life that certain people live.
Hmm. Did
You
you
know,
did you have any points that you saw in the film that stood out to you?
what stood out to me was the fact that also, um, when it came to like the chicken, when they were tasting the chicken, they said like, oh, they putting stuff in the chicken. Like Jimmy Fox character Slick, you can stop eating the chicken. You
Mm-hmm.
know, that's basically, what's been happening. Like, people have been saying for years that they do put chemicals in the chicken to affect
Mm-hmm.
people. Like, like certain people in certain areas, like say they grew up in the 90s, they didn't have to deal with what we deal with now. Like, um, let's say because of the hormones, children mature faster. It's a 16-year
Mm-hmm.
old, but that person has the body of a 20-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And also
Mm-hmm.
the facts of how they've put, reports have been that, people have been not cooking chicken at all. This could be human meat, you know, and other
Yeah,
things
that's
too.
that too. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yep. I went back on my vegetarian journey because I'm they scared me. They scared me with that growing chicken in the lab. I was like, you know what? I'm cool.
Well, they
I'm
are
cool.
growing chicken in the lab, and they are trying to make
Listen,
us eat bugs. So,
listen. I'm telling you. And then the liquor store name was Got Drinks. I mean, it was just very, very stereotypical.
yeah,
And
good.
another thing, the drunk was always dropping knowledge. The drunk sitting outside with his cup.
Yeah.
Um, and the first thing he said was, "It's in the water."
Yep. Yep. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
you've been hearing about they putting fluoride in the water. That's
Mm-hmm.
why, for me, I got me a filter.
Mm-hmm.
You better get that filter because they don't care. And plus, in these projects in New York City, they don't care about fixing that lead paint problem. They want
Mm-mm.
you
Mm-mm.
stupid. They want you stupid.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they want. I mean,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
people talk
Everybody
about,
looking at Flint and Jackson, Mississippi, but
yeah.
they'd be surprised. There's Indian reservations, there's Native American reservations, there's all kinds of places that have brown water, and they've had it for
Whew,
years. I mean, the water, it's really bad. It's
yeah,
really, really bad. Where it's just, it's not a good issue at all. And I got on my governor when I was in Louisiana and the mayor, and I wanted them to just watch the water, watch, the water reports and stuff like that. And when I would send a message, because I would go to the environmental meetings because it's a very bad cancer rate down there, and it's a bad cancer rate in Kentucky too. So people just got to be proactive and see what these people are doing, you know, because like this train wreck in East Palestine in Ohio, it's not gonna be long before their cancer rate's gonna be through the roof because all that went down into the soil and into the groundwater, and
right.
that's just there she blows.
Oh, here's another thing too. And they got black mayors, in power in these cities with all these problems, and nothing changes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you got these
Mm-hmm.
high crime rates, and you have in every one of these liberal cities, they put a black mayor there, but that black mayor works for the white people there. They're
Yeah,
not there
and they,
to.
and they also cut the funding. They don't give when that's just like that city that they I think Ford or some big factory decided they were going to go, and it's like an all black city.
Yeah,
As soon as that big company decided they were going to build a plant there, they removed all those black people and started finding allegations and stuff about them, some corruption and stuff like that. But then people started pulling records up on the white legislature that was there, the mayors and city council, and they had worse records for fraud and bribery and stuff like that. So what happens is another one in Columbus. I think they said they're going to put an intel there. So now I'm gonna tell you what's happening with all of this homelessness is they're removing people out of they're pricing people out of these apartments in these different places, and they're jacking it up to have the working people who are going to be the programmers and stuff like that making a lot of money. They're bringing them in. And another thing to watch too, this Hawaii thing.
hmm
I want to see who's going to be buying up that property. I'm gonna be looking at them with a side eye.
hey, that's
Yep.
that's that's how it goes, man. That and people looking at this like, you know, this. Well, I want to fight white supremacy. I want to fight this race war. You better fight this race war with what you see and you report it. Okay. And
Mm-hmm.
that's what I was seeing also in that movie. When I think about it, it's just the fact that they going down there, you seeing how like they were going undercover in the mask, and they seeing how they brainwashing black people, brainwashing
Mm-hmm.
to fight, brainwashing
Mm-hmm.
to hug each other, have them wearing weaves. And with the weave, there is a whole system with that stuff that is
Yep.
destroying black women.
Yep.
Okay. And a lot of them don't
Mhm.
want to see that. I don't have a problem. I mean, you need it fine, but you better check what type of
In the
chemicals are put
hair.
in that weave. All
Yeah.
right. Yeah. Because
Mhm.
that stuff will cause brain cancer and all
Yeah.
types of things.
It goes right
Okay,
into your skin. You're absolutely right.
you
Yeah.
know, and they
So
don't.
it's go ahead.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't want to listen to that. They don't want to listen to anything. You want to fight the white. You want to fight this white supremacy, but you're not seeing. You don't want to see how they're breaking you down. They don't have to put their foot on your neck like back in the day. All they gotta do is give you products with chemicals in it that they know is going to destroy you.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
And
And
you
then
know
they had the underground base was under the trap house and under the
right?
church. Was it the strip club it was under as well?
Yeah, yeah. It was under the strip
Yeah.
club. I mean, and it's like it's very much. When I'm thinking, just talking to you right now, I'm just thinking of things that I've read about, like the fact the Boule, okay, and the
Mhm.
Boule had Martin Luther King, and people get mad when I talk about Martin Luther King, but he was not for the people. He was for the Rothschilds. His job was to make every black person give up. Before Martin Luther King came around on the scene, blacks had their own barbershops, blacks
Yep.
had their own bus companies,
Yep.
blacks had their own doctors, their
They
own
own everything.
everything.
Teachers, schools, hospitals.
Right.
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, that's true.
And
That's
when
true.
Martin Luther King came around, he wanted to integrate. He was working to have them integrated. Okay. So basically, you're in another person's system, another ethnic group system. They can't
Mhm.
enslave you, you know, the way they
Mhm.
used to, but they can
Right.
enslave you in other ways. And that was one of the
Mhm.
ways you have them constantly having to put your resources and efforts into another ethnic group's pocket.
Right.
That was the thing. And
Right.
Martin, and I said this, and people get mad, but they don't want to look. They don't want to look that,
No,
you know,
it's a lot of people that see that now, and people that when I was growing up and I was really young, and those people who grew up in that era that remembered when we had our own everything, and there was more affluence in the neighborhood, and of course, a black teacher is going to care more about the future of a black student, you
uh-huh,
know, that sort of thing. You live in this community, so you care about this community, so you're giving back more. Where you got folks coming in the community that don't live there, and they just see you as a come up, get their money, and then take their kids and send their kids to the Ivy League schools, and they live good.
right.
So it's what you say is really on point. It's a system, and even like when I saw that picture, they showed Malcolm X with his hand in a Masonic or some kind of secret society thing. But I think that it's a corrupt system. And even Martin Luther King said he's integrated into a burning house. So
But he learned
that's
it too
why I
late,
just
though.
support small business. That's the best thing I could do. I just try
Right.
to support small business, little people that I know that live up the way or whatever, and they, you know what I'm saying.
And they
That's
have
just
that
a little
legitimate
family I
business,
support.
and it's actually a business that you could get behind,
Right,
And that's the
right.
thing. What you see about him, and they don't want to look at the fact that this man that we've lifted up for so long, and I looked up to him too, but there's things about him that I didn't understand, like the fact, okay, you are reverend and stuff, but why aren't you talking about unity and like a reverend, they're supposed to be talking about getting correct with God and everything, and I don't hear that
Mhm.
from him. All I hear him is about like social, just basically just being social and just fighting for rights and stuff. But you got you know, what was the game plan? And then you find out that this man was really a plant and he was working with the Rothschilds, and the Rothschilds were making sure that the blacks were getting hosed, they were getting beat, they were getting chewed on by dogs to push them into going into Martin Luther King's plan. Okay. I mean, if you
And then some of the churches are complicit too. Even
right,
today, some of the churches are complicit because if I bring up uh my ministries outside the church, because if I bring up certain ministries that's going to help people really and truly help a good amount of people, then nobody wants to hear it. And it's like, what are you here for?
because it's like the
Yeah.
manosphere, it's like the red pill manosphere. If I heal you, there's no money in cures. That's basically what it
Hmm.
is. So
Yeah.
if I help you, legitimately help you, you're not going to come back to me. I won't have you coming back to the altar every Sunday, because you'll learn to find God for yourself. You teach a man, you give a man a fish, he'll eat for a day. Teach a man to fish, he'll eat for a lifetime.
Hmm.
And that's what you're supposed to do as whatever you're a pastor or what you teach them to eat for a lifetime,
Right.
you
Right.
know,
Hmm.
and that's what it was supposed to do, and they're not doing it because a lot of them are into this Freemason Boule stuff. The Boule is
Hmm.
the ones that work for Skull and Bones. It's like it's basically their Steven from the Django. That's what the Boule are. They're Stephen from Django, and they
Mhm.
help
Mhm.
Leonardo DiCaprio's character get more slaves, make these slaves more conditional. That was Martin Luther King's job.
Oppress their own people is what they
Right.
do.
That's what he
Mhm.
that's what Martin Luther King was doing, because he knew about that, but he was too busy enjoying the prostitutes. He was too busy enjoying what all the trimmings that the communists were giving him. Because JFK, who were Democrat, they were telling him, look, you got to stay away from these communists, but he wasn't listening. And then when he
Mhm.
found the communists were actually bad, it was too late, you know?
But I think towards the end, to be honest with you, I think towards the end, he was um, coming around, which is why he was unalive, because he started talking about poor people's
Mhm.
march. Then you started hitting our pockets. No, no, we don't want to hear about all that. Now we can talk integration all day, but when you start talking about paying people a living wage and all, now you going too far now. You
Right.
know, so that's what I think that was. But then we got to remember that Martin Luther King was really, really young. He was really young when all of this was going down.
He was
So
young, but he was getting training from the communists. So I can't
mm,
really, can I really feel bad for him? I don't think I can, because you're learning things that and when a good person to find out about is, his name is Manning Johnson. He was a black person, and he got out of the Communist Party. Okay, when they and he will tell you about the systematic ways that the Democrats, were using, they're trying to be a friend to the black people. They were under the guise of the fact that they wanted blacks to be slaves. Okay,
mm-hmm,
they always had blacks thinking that it was always the white man's fault. If you look him up, Manning Johnson, you'll see what he says about it. It's the same tactics as the Republicans use today. Okay, and if you are a black man with a business in those days, you would be called. They would have the blacks who were poor to call them house. You're a white man's N word and all these things. Okay,
mm-hmm,
they need you to be poor. They need the Democrat
yeah,
Party. They
mm-hmm,
need you to be poor. The Republicans are just as bad. All right,
mm-hmm,
but the Democrats, socialists, they need you to be poor. They need you to be a victim. They need you to be the boogeyman for the Republican to be self-righteous. And that's what I also was seeing from the Cloned Tyrone. They need these black people like this so they can be looked upon as victims, but at the
mm-hmm.
same time looked upon as pariahs.
But also they need them like that to keep eating themselves up and not moving ahead.
Correct. Correct.
Because one drug dealer down, let's roll out the next one.
Right.
One prostitute down, let's roll out the next one. One pimp down, let's
Exactly.
roll out the next one. So it's just like nobody is doing anything different, and nobody is trying to fix that community. Because, like I said, that school looked like, I was like, oh shit, if I'm not even a parent, and that was that was disturbing for me. It's like I would be like, oh hell no.
But that's the socialist way. This is what they want from us. They
Mm-hmm.
want us to be that boogeyman. You're a pariah and you're a victim at the same time. You're to be helped, but to be despised at the same time.
Right.
That's what they
Right.
want. They want that.
Yeah.
And I think maybe when I was thinking about that, maybe it wasn't the fact that he was cloned. It was the fact that he died and I got another one in his place. Another one died. I get him.
That's another thing I saw, is that it's nobody is learning from learning the lesson. It's like you die, and then here come another one to take your place. And it's very true, because you still got people out here now that didn't learn anything from the 80s and 90s crack epidemic. I mean, young people that are like, with all this information available to them, they're not interested. Like they go right into the cycle and the system without even trying to do something better.
Because it's fast money. That's the thing. They're taught through the hip hop, it's fast money. And that's basically what it is. I mean, an ex-CIA agent, he broke it down that basically this is what we want to do. We wanted hip hop to be a vehicle to basically destroy families and have divide in America. And plus the prison pipeline is full of
Mm-hmm.
blacks from at-risk homes that were listening to that same brainwashing music, just like rock music, the same brainwashing music every day, you know, to
Mm-hmm.
commit these crimes.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what basically happened. And you see that with they cloned Tyrone. I mean, the woman you see all these women, all the black women are prostitutes, all the black men are pimps and drug dealers. And
Mm-hmm.
this is that. And
Mm-hmm. Winos.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
when they die, nobody learns the lesson. The past is up there. just being
That's it.
crooked and stuff. Yeah,
That's it. When they
yeah,
die, another one comes to take. Nobody says, "Hey, listen, let me try to do something different." And then hit
and
Tyrone.
if you do try to do something different, they're all gonna look. You think you're better than us? Who are
Mm-hmm,
you? And
mm-hmm.
that's how it makes it so hard to get. That's what they call it. It makes it so hard. It's just this. It's like the Matrix. I'll say it in a way, you know. And when you try to get out of it, you know you get all this pushback. Just like with the red pill, you say, look, we gotta take responsibility for our actions. This can't be all the women's fault. I mean, yeah, they're single moms, but you want to sleep with them too. What's going on here?
Yeah.
Oh, are you better than us? Oh, you
Mm-hmm.
sound like a female. Who are
Yeah.
you to tell me
If
what
I
to
if
do?
I throw the single mothers under the bus, I got to throw the men who made the babies, and a lot of them in the red pill because they're anti single mother, and they have kids that they're
Right.
not married to the woman. So I mean, what are we saying here?
Yeah, that's the thing. Wow, this
So
is this basically it's the same thing with the hood and everything. It's like it's a matrix that, and if you dare fight against it, you have these Agent Smiths come out of nowhere.
mm-hmm, 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 mm-hmm. Just one track mind, not
Right.
thinking looking at the big picture. I think is what it is. Okay, another thing that I picked up. Did I pick up Oh, there was a song playing on the radio that this movie is so full of stuff. It was a song playing on the radio, and the pimp, I forget it, Jamie Foxx, he was saying uh, when it came on the radio, "So Tired" is the name of the song, and when they played it, they would get sleepy. I say, oh, okay, so it's the music is hypnotizing you.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And that's true. They've shown that
Mm-hmm.
music does have that effect on the brain.
Yep.
The brain,
Mm-hmm.
it could push you to do like a lot of things. I mean, when I lift weights and I would listen to rock music, yeah, I'd be pushing up those reps. I'm like, yeah, this is great. This is great. And it has that effect. And sometimes maybe you having a bad day and you'll listen to some slow music. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, some people, they would go drink or they do something
Mm-hmm.
else. Like some
Mm-hmm.
people listen to music smoking blunts. They be smoking a blunt.
Yep.
Music has um, it has that effect.
Yeah, yeah, because we're so much like water. And if you
Uh-huh.
saw that study with, I think it was one was with a plant and one was with water, and they did negative things to the water and the plant, and they would die, or the water
Mhm.
turned black. And same
Whoa.
thing with doing positive things, they would flourish, and the water was clear and crystal clear and looking nice. So it's the same thing. It's all living matter, you know.
Right.
So yep. So
But I've
that's
seen
yep.
something on TikTok as well, with the water. It's like the water will change with different frequencies.
Mhm.
It says like,
Mhm.
yeah, like you were saying, like we're made up of water, and I'm like, I'm not, and I really, I brought back to memory. I was like, wow, it's not a joke, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really true. That was like a scientific study, and I found it very interesting. Yep. So what other points did you pick up that that stood out to you?
The fact of the matter is when Keith Sutherland's character came out and he's saying like, well, if we remove you guys, we'll have a Starbucks in there by next Tuesday. So
Mhm.
basically, if you actually were to give actual solutions to the community, it will flourish. It will be good. But then the thing is like they're out of business. Okay. And that's it. It's
Yeah.
business. It's a business
Mhm.
putting people in prison, especially minority. It's a business with Planned Parenthood to have black women, mostly minorities, uh,
Aborting their
aborting,
babies. Mhm.
I mean, just like it was like the only reason why it changed, like with last year, was because more white babies were being aborted than black babies and stuff. And then you'll have
Mhm.
an article that says if you buy a pair of jeans, you will help a minority woman get an abortion. Hold up. I thought we're all lives matter.
Wow.
What is the difference? Why are you doing this?
And
So you're
black numbers are actually down about as low as white. You know, our birth numbers are down pretty low. So I don't know what the focus is on, at least in this country. I can't say for other places, but I don't know what the focus is on
well, I looked at
getting.
statistics and it did show that more white babies were being aborted at this time. You know,
Yeah, that's always the case, but for the first time in a long time, the black birth rate is
correct. Yeah,
down really low. Yeah,
right.
it's down really low, and that's why I try to make an effort to support uh mothers and stuff like that, community wise, because it's just good business. It's good business to support women with children. It's
Hmm.
good business to support families, um, and that's including with the man in it.
Right.
So I don't know why uh, America's backwards that way, and also they think that the only thing they can do to support. I just did a TikTok video on this. Is drugs is the only way, and I said this. People forget that this country was a manufacturing powerhouse at one point.
Hmm. It was.
And it's like you think that if China falls or they decide not to sell to you anymore, you think y'all can't come back up with this stuff with all this information you have that people 50 years ago didn't have, 100 years ago they didn't have this information. You guys can just say you just manufactured here yourself. And that was a problem anyway during the pandemic because the hospitals didn't have enough gloves and stuff because the stuff was made in another country and it was stuck in their customs because nothing was moving.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's a real codependent type thing and also about cheap labor. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, that's how it's become because, ever since, when it came to this pandemic, I mean, a lot of things got outsourced.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And it would be good for the black community to try to support single moms. Like if you get pregnant, don't abort the kid. And this is another thing too that the left will always say. They always talk about how it's okay to abort kids. It's okay, but you don't talk about the fact that these women be dying on the table, or the fact that these women may not be able to have kids again, the
Yeah.
mental illness, the suicide, the abuse that some of these doctors do to these minors.
Mm-hmm.
It goes unreported. They never talk about that. They talk
Yeah.
about a woman's right to do what she wants with her body, but you're not
Mm-hmm.
talking about these consequences that these women may face.
Right. Right. Yeah, I agree. I agree. I support single mothers. I support families, period. But I just that's what I'm looking at it from a standpoint. I'm not one of those people because I'm young elderly now.
Hmm.
But I'm not one of those people like back when I was young, bashing women over the head about having kids. Because I'll be like, listen, are you gonna? Can you work with the father and stuff like that? Because I'm I'm a proponent for the father being in the child's life real heavy, if not in the household, if he can,
Right.
um, because it makes a difference. It makes the difference.
But the thing is
So
like a lot of you have women out there that just want kids and they don't want the father there. That's just
that's
another
true.
thing too.
That matriarchal that's heavy in the black community in some places
Yeah.
too. Yeah,
Or the fact that the relationship didn't work out, but he still wants to be there for his child, and they don't want that too. And that's another thing that's being pushed in our media, that um the woman could do it all by herself. It's very hard to raise kids by yourself. You need public assistance. You need someone there to watch the kids.
yeah. I don't propose for women to do it by themselves. I grew up in it, and it's not a good look. It's not for the faint of heart. And then with all of these women sleeping in their cars and stuff with their children and homeless, I'm like, y'all listen, y'all better do some roommate situation with your baby daddy or drop that baby off with him, because that's not no, nope, mm-mm, no, that's a no for me.
But
No.
they saying that this is the way to go. I mean, even Ebony K. Williams, and this is another. They have these leaders. These are the leaders of the black community, the ones in the media that say things that are completely against the well being of women, especially black women. That she's saying, I want to be a single mom. This is my journey, and you'll understand that she grew up without a dad. Okay. And this is what she wants. She literally went to a sperm bank, and this is what they want to do. And they want to try and encourage black men to go to a sperm bank. This is the cycle that they have, right? And I can see
Hmm.
it once again with they clone Tyrone. This is the war they have. This is the white supremacist war on minorities, especially black people,
Hmm.
you know.
But you know what? At this point, I'm not even looking at white supremacy because black people do a lot of stuff to ourselves. Like
That
they
too.
clone Tyrone. I want you to see that why you keep going into the same cycle. over and over and over again when you see that it didn't work for anybody for the past 50 years.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? You think maybe you might need to do something different. I mean, at least the prostitute, I have to give it to her. At least she had a plan, or if the plan was gonna work or not, I don't know. But at least she was at least thinking outside the box.
Right. She
You
wanted
know.
to get out of it. She wanted to move away from
Mm-hmm.
the place and stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that. It's just
Because
that,
that's a profession with an end date on it. You can't be out here
yeah,
50 years old and you don't get no pension for that. So you got to have some kind of plan for yourself, and it's hella dangerous. I don't recommend it for women. That's why I stay out of it, because a lot of the young women was telling us, older women, mind your business. You jealous, this, that, and the other. We gonna do what we want to do, and this, that, and the other. And I'm like, okay. I work in the hospitals. I worked on the ambulance. I see the cases, and the
right.
police. The police. We all talk. Police and EMTs. We talk, and we see what's out there happening to y'all, and it ain't cute. It
No,
ain't
it's
cute.
not.
And
I
these
mean, a lot of
these,
these
these serial
OnlyFans.
killers ain't nothing nice.
What? Ooh, shoot. I remember the story about Mercedes Moore, and she was an OnlyFans model, right?
I
And
remember that.
the thing is like, this is what they, and when I made a video about her, a lot of women were comment in my comment section getting mad at me for what I was saying, but I was saying the truth. I wasn't bashing, but the thing is, like, you make yourself a target. You have to understand, a prostitute, whether you're in the street or you're online, you make yourself a target to weak men, psychos, and incels to get money. That's your clientele,
Yep.
psychopaths. Okay.
Yep.
Even this one called what was her
Hmm.
name? Tiger Booty, right? And she went to South Africa. She was a single mother. She went to, I think she went to Gambia. Some part, yeah, Gambia. And she went there with this rich African businessman. She never came back alive.
The
Okay.
one here from San Diego that went to Texas and met the Nigerian guy, and he chopped her up, and
Yeah.
no, he's in the wind somewhere, because they doing organ harvesting and different things over there.
Right.
But yeah, it's like I tell them, it's nothing to play with, my dear. It's nothing to play with. And then I'm gonna tell you, nobody takes looking for the person who unalived you seriously, because Samuel Little had to turn himself in.
Right.
And he had
Because in
he
those
had to close a
times,
lot of those cold cases for those policemen, because he was all across the country,
right, doing that.
they're just going buck wild.
Race, pretty
So,
much. And because at those times, black people especially, were looked upon as a lesser dead. So we weren't considered um somebody to actually take seriously. If we died, oh well, he died, or he or
well,
she died.
well, a police is even. I mean, the prostitute is even under the black people, because
Right.
even a white prostitute. I mean, they're just considered.
Oh, 1 minute, 1 minute. Hold on 1 minute.
Okay. So yeah, this was a terrific movie. I really hope you guys check it out. It is They Cloned Tyrone, and it has so many good points. I couldn't even list them all. We'd be here all day and all night, but it's really important. The clues are, it's not in code. Everything is just right there in your face, and it's very, very profound, and a lot of lessons in this movie. So I really hope that you guys check it out. So it's one of now going to be one of my favorite Jamie Foxx movies. Yep. And the other ancillary characters too they did a really good job of portraying the characters that they portrayed in this movie. Yep. So um I really, really enjoyed it. I really did. I'm gonna watch it again and again, because every time I watch it, I see new things that did it didn't stand out to me for the first time, or I was looking away, and I wasn't really paying attention.
Hey, how you doing? All right.
Oh
So
yeah,
yeah. So yeah. So about it is it's not it's really conditioning that's
yeah.
been happening, in the black community for a long time.
Mhm. Mhm.
And but it came from putting drugs in the community.
Mm-hmm.
And they would say, "Oh, just say no to drugs." But then when it would start happening to them, when they had an opium epidemic, and their
Mm-hmm.
rich white children were getting affected, now they want to do something about it.
Yeah. It's too late now. It's too late. They've even lost a lot because when I work in Beverly Hills and I go to work and it looks like a slum. The streets got hot potholes worse than Louisiana, and there's in the median in front of these $3,000 or $5,000 apartments is like homeless tents. So I'm talking about in Beverly Hills, okay, right, like right up
California.
the street from the Beverly Center.
Wow.
So yeah, yeah. So it's not a lot that you can do in this country to hurt black people that's not going to hurt the country. So it started with crack in our community and it just spilled over with other things in your community. So it's not, that's why I say I don't know why this country think that drugs is the only way for it to prosper. Because you're just going to eat up your future generations. That's all you're going to do.
Well, they think that the white generation won't be affected, and they forgot that that stuff will spill into them because guess what? The best clients to have is a client that's rich.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have rich white people that you know who are spoiled white kids, hey, they'll take it up. There are doctors and stockbrokers hooked on crack, hooked on drugs.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. 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 Oh, I work in a hospital. Oh man, I tell you. And one of the top hospitals and where the wealthy people go. And it's like, yeah, yeah, they've got problems too. They've got problems too. So the best thing I say is that for us to try to find another way than drugs, because it just morally is wrong, and it just destroys people's lives. I don't see it helping people, you know.
It doesn't. It helps the drug dealer. That's it. That's how it
And then
helps.
not even him, because guess what? The cycle is I sell, I get busted, and I spend the money back into the court system. So tell me, how did I win? Any property, if I was smart enough to get property, it gets confiscated. You may as well just go get a job, man.
Yeah.
You may as well just go get a job.
But they think that, but they're conditioned to the point they're dumbed down to like that's working for the white man. Well, I'm sorry. I'd rather just be able to work that job than to go have always looking over my shoulder, wondering who's going to put a bullet in my back, who's going to betray me in my cartel, and then I'm in jail while one of my best buddies is banging my woman.
I'm
That
telling you.
I mean, that
And
happens.
yeah, even opening a business is better than a legit business is better than selling dope. I mean, I don't see how they don't see that, especially with our community being being like a wasteland of no businesses, or businesses that are open up some centers with selling healthy food. Do something you know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
This guy, what is it called? Goddamn chicken is what they call the place. You know, we can't do better than that. And they done told you that they're growing the chicken in the lab. Like I mean, am I the only one who sees it? You know,
The thing is,
so
like, there's others who see it, but the fact of the matter is probably they just move on with their lives. They know they can't. Everybody ain't meant to come to the promised land. That's the thing, and a
that's
lot of
true.
people
A lot of
don't.
people gonna fall by the wayside. Yeah, you're right.
Right, and a lot of people want to do things for the group. I mean, that's the thing with socialism, and with socialism soon turns into communism. Socialism is not rooted in reality. That's the problem. It's not rooted in reality. Some people are not going to want you're depending on the government to actually take care of people. Human nature does not always work in the best interest of everybody else. That's why I would rather settle with capitalism, because at least in capitalism there's a free market. You could get your own stuff
Yeah,
instead of
I,
businesses
I
and
really don't believe in the government playing more part in your life than it already does, because I just don't trust anybody to take care of me, because if I depend on you to feed me, you can also starve me.
exactly. And the thing is, like, when
So
it comes to reparations, and I probably people may get mad at you and me, but you saying the government's racist, white supremacist, and this is the same government that you want to give you money that was owed to your ancestors. I don't see that working out. I've always,
well,
even Obama when he was in office, he rejected it. So what does
yeah,
that tell you? They'll
But
always
even but on that, me and you okay, this is how I feel about reparations. I feel like give them the back pay. If you're gonna if you're going to give them a piece of land, or if you're going to give them a
exactly
erase the student loan debt or whatever, however you're going to do it to pay for what their ancestors worked for. And I'll say that
right.
for Jamaica, Haiti, Barbados, whoever,
Hmm.
because those were, people forget that those were slave colonies too. So I say give that back to them, let them uh build on it, or the folios are going to squander it. Okay, because like they squander, there are people who are going to squander it, but they're going to be people who are going to be smart about it, and they're going to build something on it. Because there are people who are being smart, we just don't see it because they're quiet about it, because they don't want they don't want enemies and folk coming around trying to rob them and stuff like that. They don't tell you everything that they have. But
Hmm.
where I'm at with the reparations is I do believe that everybody should be compensated back pay for services rendered,
Yeah,
and like Wall Street, Black Wall Street, and all those. I think that they should be compensated just as a gesture of goodwill and what was fair.
yeah, I agree with that. But the problem is, it's like there's so many, puppets, that look like you and me that will make sure that that will not happen. Or if you do get it, it's in a way that won't be useful. Like, for instance, people are calling for cut the check, cut the check. We're going into a cashless society. So it's good to have gold, land, silver, something
Hmm.
that's tangible that could help you grow. Like if you can't, let's say you're not able to use cash, or you're not able to um, go with this, the world coin system, at least you have food, a land that could help you, so you won't starve.
Hmm.
But
That's true.
a lot of black
That's
people are
true.
not thinking that way. Very few
Hmm.
black people actually are thinking that way. What's coming ahead? We have this, not to sound like a conspiracy nut, but we do have an Agenda 30 coming up.
Yeah.
And a lot of
Well, that's what
people,
I want to do. I want to get little pieces of land for each sibling's children. Little piece of land, $5,000, $10,000. But then that's because that we have to cut down on the home. We are overrepresented in homelessness. We are really, especially like in LA, we're like 40% of the homeless cases, and we're like, I don't know if we even 6 or 7% of the population even, but we 40% of the homeless. And this place was a place where Black people owned property massively, but then a generation came and they just they sold everything out, cashed it out, didn't do anything with it, and now their grandchildren and great grandchildren are homeless.
it's a sad thing. It's a sad
Yeah.
thing. But when you talk
Hmm.
about what we talking about, you're a raccoon. You don't know what you're talking about. Are you FBA? No, I'm not. But I understand that black Americans who have descendants from slavery, who are descended from slavery, they deserve that money, and it should be used smart. And you've seen the game of how the white supremacist is working. Oh, well, you
Hmm.
shouldn't be talking. Okay, well, go listen to Tariq Nasheed. Go listen to all these puppets that they have picked for you to tell you what to do. And I guarantee you, you will be in the same place you are, like people have been for 30 years asking, or however, so many long years asking for reparations, and they still haven't gotten it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. Because even like those big fat income tax checks that the women get that have a lot of kids in certain states, they get a lot of income tax, and I'm like, why you just don't buy a house or buy an apartment building or something to be your income. And some people just not ready. They're not going to be ready, you know. um it's sad to say, but yeah.
it is. I mean, the thing is like, and that's another thing with the movie. They cloned Tyrone. It's like they all think, like when Tyrone tried to come and warn them about, look, they're cloning people down under,
Hmm.
underneath the churches, underneath the music clubs, and he tried to talk to a rival. The guy didn't want to believe it, and he shot him.
Hmm. Hmm.
And then when he actually saw for his own eyes, always knew they were cloning people down here. No, you didn't. It's like, it's just the fact when they say, wow, I always knew the Democrats and Republicans were one of the same. No, you didn't. People have been telling you, your own kind has been telling you, but you just brushed it off.
Hmm. Hmm. Yep. It's crazy. It's crazy, but yeah, that was, and then the fact that Fontaine was actually the man who cloned him was the original
Uh-huh.
Fontaine. You know, that was profound too. That, oh, you, this man made his own problems. You know, he made his own problems. He, for whatever psychological reason, felt that it was good for him uh, to clone people and to have all this foolishness going on in the community. And was it he that his brother originally his brother was
Well,
killed or something, or
yeah,
for shoplifting?
I think so. Like he stole a little piece of candy and they shot him for it, little brother. And
Mm,
he got traumatized because his brother, they didn't even clean up the blood. They just let him bleed out. They let his brother die, and he had to clean up the blood and everything. And I can understand why there's a vicious hatred towards white people by some black people who actually have suffered trauma at the hands of racist whites, not somebody who just
hmm.
reads a book or they, you know, they watch social media videos. They actually suffer. They actually been through something like that. I understand.
Hmm.
All right, I
Hmm.
understand that. But at the same time, that doesn't mean you do devious crap like this to your own
Yeah,
people.
yeah. He turned into a monster,
Yeah, he did.
and then you would think that he would try to do his. If you was a genius enough to be a geneticist, then you would think he would do something more productive for the community since his little brother was killed.
You
But
can see that,
yeah, it doesn't always work that way. People sometimes turn in on themselves and eat themselves up.
and that's what happened.
Crazy.
That's basically what happened. And
Hmm.
you tell people that blacks can be racist too. Blacks can't be
That's true.
racist. We don't
Oh,
have power. We don't have power. If you have the little bit of power to deny somebody something based on the color of their skin, it doesn't matter. You're racist.
yeah.
Okay.
Blacks can be hell of a racist if you ask me.
Yeah, they could be just as bad as
Hmm.
the racist whites. They can
Yeah.
be just as bad.
And
Okay.
it's interesting that they should, like, this guy who was over in Vietnam or somewhere begging this woman, and I'm so embarrassed. You're in a country where the people don't look like you, and you're trying to explain to her racism. It's like,
It's not.
I don't know.
It doesn't make any sense. That's what I mean. I think it was like, what is that? The Passport Bros or something?
Yeah, he was
Yeah, he was.
some kind of fiance, 90-day fiance or something. I
Yeah,
don't watch those shows, but his clip went viral, and I was so embarrassed for him because you're in a country where the people don't look nothing like you. You didn't go to the Caribbean or to Africa or any of the islands where the people, Fiji or somewhere like that. You're in a country where the people don't look nothing like you,
pretty much.
and
And
you
there's a lot of
and
things they
you
don't.
look like you taking somebody who, here you'd be like, oh, she's a 4 or 5, and you're begging. And the sisters over here and in other places, and even the if you Latino, whatever, I just can't. I can't
That's the thing.
anymore.
The thing they always put the black man in a weak light. And
Yeah, it was embarrassing, but it was embarrassing. It's like, bruh, bruh, mm-mm, mm-mm, mm-mm.
I mean,
Nope.
that's how it is. That is basically how it is. And they have where they, I believe, like with immigrants come to this country, they would have you watch a tape and say like, um, if you encounter blacks, don't go near them. This is how they act, and they play a video. And I've heard about this and actually seen it online where when an African person was telling people online that this is what they do when you want to come to this country, America, they make you watch a video and they show you in a bad light, doing drugs, gang banging, all the stuff. And this is why the negative view of blacks is almost global.
But you gotta be using common sense too, because they do that and showing Africa in a poverty light too, and you don't see
Right.
the only
You
reason
don't see
why
the good
people
places
know
of
that people are living really well over there is because of these platforms where people can show cameras and stuff like that. So they try to create a separation, and you just have to be smart enough not to fall for it. And I'm
it. Right.
not one of these separatists that I told you that once before in one of the live streams. I'm not one of these separatists as to what country you're from and this and that, because it's all a game to keep everybody oppressed and poor.
Right.
Everybody.
Exactly, and that's when it came with the like this one person. I believe she was a light skinned Spanish person. She was saying like, oh well, we're better than the blacks and everybody else. And then a dark skinned Spanish person had to check her and tell her, listen, you celebrating these white people and you down your own kind, but you don't understand that these the Spaniards did horrible things in the name of religion to get your resources and then make it like it was your fault.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and that is the mindset with some people in these Spanish countries.
Yeah,
Okay,
and then they're impoverished too. So it's like,
right.
oh, you looking at somebody like your shit don't stink, and you ain't got running water. I mean, if you don't knock it off,
And you got a culture where your man beats the hell out of you and it's justified.
yeah,
Machismo.
it's like knock it off,
Right.
stop it.
But you glorify the white man. That's what they have you doing. You
Hmm.
down blacks, but you look up to white people. But white people look up to other white people and they look at you as just somebody to fetishize. Okay. And it's just the
Yeah, well,
same.
they're I think they come into this country, and after 20 odd years plus, they see what's going on. They see what kind of game is being run, especially like here in LA. Because after in the 90s when they were coming in real heavy, but see
Mhm.
now it's a little bit more subtle. I mean, they're a little bit more humble because now you see how American kick off in your ass, you know.
Right.
And you know what I'm saying? So and then people are also knowing that the history of black people in this country, the history of the indigenous people in this country, that listen, this system will get in your behind, and you are
Right.
not smarter than everybody here who's it's already got in their behind.
Right.
Okay.
And they'll try to
So
make you a model minority and pin you against the other people. And look what happened with Vivek, right? And
mm-hmm.
Vivek thought he was smart and lying about, oh, white supremacy isn't the issue here, right? And but he won't talk about the thing is like, and then what happens is he won't talk about the Asians, what they're suffering without affirmative action, how they're getting passed over for jobs, they don't have no leadership positions in companies owned by white people, they're fetishized. Okay, um,
Mm-hmm.
they will train unqualified whites to get a job that they desire. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
now you're just a tool of burden. That's it. You're just a
Mm-hmm.
beast of burden. Okay.
But you know how I look at this whole picture when I look at the big picture of everything,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why, yeah, I work my job. But if you look at you see all the postings of things that I buy,
Mm-hmm.
that comes from black businesses, all of it. My
Mm-hmm.
groceries, my beauty supply, my everything, my shampoo, everything comes, my shoes. So I'm now in a point where everybody is closing in their walls to
Mm-hmm.
their community. I had to go to the dispensary for my mom's medication. So I found a black owner. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So if everybody's gonna close their walls, and white supremacy gonna close their walls, or Asian supremacists gonna close their walls, Latino supremacists gonna close their walls, and we need to close our walls, and we need to just start passing the money along and
Oh,
recycle.
don't do that. You're racist. Don't do that. You're
No,
racist.
no, I'm not. Because for the things that
How
I
dare
can't
you
find,
learn from us?
I still got to go to Target and stuff like that. But then they got black folks working there, and if they're smart, they'll do the same thing. But
Mhm,
they've got products in there that we manufacture.
mhm,
So you see what I'm saying?
mhm,
We got to get on code and just understand what it is. You know what I'm saying? And when I go to the Caribbean market next to dispensary, and he's
mhm.
bringing stuff from his Jamaica, Belize, or wherever he's from, putting dollars into his economy there. That's what we have to get on code about. Asian people already know this. That's why everything was manufactured and sent here from their place. They already know this. So we just have to catch up. you know
Yeah,
we
that's what
have
would
to
have to
catch up.
happen. And the thing is,
Hmm.
it's like it's going to be a fight though, because you will have blacks that will try to harm you if they don't get their way. Look what happened to was it Destiny Harris? She owned a salon and a beauty supply store in Maryland, and she faced dealing with robberies. And then one day, they killed her in front of her 1-year-old daughter.
Oh, I remember that. I remember that. Yeah, we have these dusties. We have these dusties, like the lady in Chicago with her son. We have some internal problems. We really do. And we got some people in our community that we don't really want them there. And that's why I was telling, I said on my TikTok, I said, don't let nothing happen to that woman and that little boy. I said, because you got people, the man who ran in the church and shot them people, and people, man who ran up in New York in the grocery store and shot them people, and they walking around and enjoying life, and you ain't putting out no word on them.
Mm-hmm.
So don't we got to get on code, because what's happening is the Pookies are running the people. This woman own a business.
Mm-hmm.
Her kid is an honor roll student, and she sending the cash app and single fathers the week before. Like, oh, so we gonna beat her down? That's who we beating down. That's what we doing now. We the definition of backwards if we do.
Yeah, I
The
mean
definition of
that's
backwards.
how it is. And when you try to talk about a straight line, try to talk about some sanity, some things that work, people get mad at you. Okay,
Yep.
they get mad at
And
you
then he was a clone of Tyrone, and the women wearing the shirt, the Knockout King, they clones of Tyrone.
pretty much. That's what it is. It's a clone of Tyrone, and they don't see anything wrong with what this dude did. Okay, they don't see nothing wrong. So what? She wanted to get her food. All right, just step back and let her get her food. That's the thing.
Yeah, she
And
pre-ordered it, so that's what happens. I mean, who don't know that? When you pre-order, you just walk in and pick up your food. I mean, I get pushed back by the DoorDash and the other people all the time. That's just how it works, you know.
that's it. But they don't. But it's like common sense is not common. And when you speak the truth about certain things to make things better, you're hated and you risk your life.
Mhm.
Sad to say, you risk your life for telling the truth. And this is why blacks, they try to save up and move to the suburbs. And that's why they vote against having Section 8 in their neighborhoods.
Yeah. Hmm.
You know?
Or even like there was a lady on TikTok. She had a really nice commercial. I don't know if it was an apartment building or just like a duplex or something, but
Mhm.
she wanted to help, her people, and beautiful place. You could tell they put remodeling, they put effort into making it nice. And my girl brought Keisha brought Pookie in, and then all of a sudden everything is going downhill. So it's like, you want to help people, but some people make it hard for you to help them.
They have to
They
want
really
it.
do.
That's what a
Yeah.
lot of times, and they want to have this struggle love. And when you talk about,
Hmm.
look, you can't have this struggle love, no struggle love. That now you're gonna have, like, if you mention no struggle love online, oh, now you're gonna have problems because now you're
Hmm.
saying that, oh, what are you trying to say? I gotta wait till I'm 30 in order to have a chick. Well, if it takes you that long, so be it. That's it. I mean, for someone, it's the same thing. It's a maturity thing. And a lot of people don't want to see that within the urban black community. They want to call you names and stuff, real elementary childish stuff. And I'm like, I don't
Hmm.
care. I don't care
You
because
know why? Because the people who are having all the children, how can I say this? People with a lot of children are typically not. I don't want to start making classist statements, but um, they usually not educated on that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how to say it. That's not going to be offensive, but that's what I noticed is that
no
you're
problem being offensive. Sometimes you have to say that. So the truth, you
yeah,
have to
yeah,
say it.
your middle income people are, you typically, if they having a kid, it's only like one or two,
Mm-hmm.
and so they're being outnumbered by the Bushikas and the man and the Daquans with the 8 kids, because they don't mind because they ain't doing nothing else. So they got nothing else to do. So
Did you see that one with Pink Book Lessons? Like she was doing a story about this woman. She had a boyfriend before, and then she ended up getting married to some dude, and he ended up taking her out. And the mother and the father, all three of their kids are gone. That was the last one that they had. All of their children are gone. The mother and father
wow.
not together, all the children gone, and now they just have the grandkids.
Oh wow.
And I'm like, wait a minute, wait a minute. Nobody thinking something wrong here? All your kids are dead. This was the last one?
Wow. Wow.
This is what I'm talking about, man. And then when you try to speak logic and stuff to prevent this from keep happening over and over again, you're the problem. You're the
Mm.
sellout. You're the hater.
Yeah. Yeah. I had that problem in my own family. You can't save everybody. That's all I know. We
Yeah,
only have a short amount of time to live in the span of time. And people just not gonna get. They're gonna be clone Tyrone. That's all they're gonna do. Clone Tyrone.
pretty much.
Doing the
That's
same
how I
thing
see it.
over and over and over again.
Pretty
Making
much.
the
And
same mistakes.
right. And at the end of the movie, right, with Clone Tyrone, you see him. It's the same dude, it's just
Hmm.
different. He just got
In
braids.
LA, just in
Right.
a different location. Yep.
Right. And he just there smoking weed and drunk. And then you see another person. He sees himself there. I'm like, I thought
Hmm.
you're Tyrone.
Yep.
And
Hmm.
it's, I mean,
Tyrone, ain't that you? Wait a minute.
and that's the thing. There's a bunch of Tyrones around here, and it's the
Yeah.
same process. It's the same, process. You you don't pull yourself out of your circumstances. You do the drug dealing and stuff,
Hmm.
and then it's a sick cycle.
Yep.
And some
Yep.
people see it as a movie of entertainment, but it won't see it as a fact of, you know, um, this actually goes on. And with the women too, the women part, it's like, damn, it's like they have to do this, and it's
Hmm. And isn't it something how the mother ended up being just a radio, like a voice over a radio?
yeah, I didn't get that part, but I just think maybe they know that's just the powers that be.
Hmm.
You know, they cloning. Where's the mother? There's going to be questions with that.
Yeah, that's true. Yep.
And I think that's just basically the stereotypical mother that's in the the poor urban black community that doesn't
Hmm.
really discipline the kids, doesn't really grab them by their neck.
Absent mother.
Yeah,
Hmm.
the absent mother. Well, I'm in church, I'm at the club, I'm having a girls trip, you know,
Hmm.
and that's basically the absentee mother.
Yeah. Hmm. That's why I've just, especially for boys, they got to have that father around.
Yeah,
Got to.
they got to.
Got
But
to.
unfortunately, what's not talked about is they have mothers out there that don't really want the father there. They want to be spiteful, or the
That's true.
fact. And it's
That's
another thing that's talked about too. This isn't talked about. You have women that are for the other team, but since they can't afford to go to a sperm bank, they'll use men for a sperm bank to get the kid. And when they get the kid,
hmm
they'll cut the man off.
yeah. It's a mess out here. I'm glad I'm old. It is. It's a mess. But I'm almost out of here soon. Oh,
Well,
shoot,
I mean,
man, it's nasty. I'm. I did have a relatively kind of normal childhood, and dated and stuff like that. Went to high school, and you know, it, you know, it came to LA and finished high school and went to community college and just lived my life, but it wasn't so nasty out here. And it definitely wasn't all these homeless people. I feel sorry for these young people, man. It's demoralizing to have to come out and see people living in tents and trash and stuff.
it is. It's sad, but this is how they want it, man. They want to
Hmm.
have it this way. I mean, New York City is costing $12 billion to house these migrants, and they don't want to send them back. They don't want to, you got people who are homeless who need jobs. New Yorkers, people born here, and you have
That's
to.
what I said. I was telling Sean James, the other YouTuber. I told him, I said, listen, let me tell you what happened in LA. I said, y'all about to it's about to be real nasty out in New York. Well, ain't no joke to begin with.
Hmm.
So we bringing more people, and the Americans who are paying the taxes, uh, and wait, we got Americans here sleeping in their cars that work, and you
Right.
wouldn't even know it. They go to the gym and shower.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what are we doing? We gonna put the taxpayers out until they just get tired and leave, and then you're just gonna have another third world country, or how are we gonna do that? You
I
know?
think that's the plan, though, to make America a third world country. You see how they
Hmm.
send all these weapons over to Ukraine. You
Yep.
know,
And just yeah, just putting people out in these places, and um making a lot of homelessness all across the country. It's not even just LA, it's all across the country. Because you jacking up rents and stuff, and it's right after a pandemic when people wasn't even working for a couple of years. I mean, I was happened to be lucky because I was working from home before the pandemic, so I was cool when when it went down. I wasn't unemployed or anything, but no.
It's
Mm-mm.
for everybody that weren't so lucky. I mean, if you weren't an essential worker, you would have problems.
Yeah, yeah, and even some of the nurses and stuff lost their lives and stuff like that. It was hell in the hospitals. I
Whoa,
wasn't in the hospital at that time.
they lost their lives.
Yeah, there were some nurses that died. Yeah. Hmm.
Oh wow. Oh wow. 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 That is
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It was more than a notion, man. It was. Whoo. It's hard work on a regular day. Imagine when you inundated with patients and people coming in left, right, and center. You know.
damn. That's
Yeah.
whew.
If I wasn't on a permanent in a permanent job at a hospital, I would probably see about making my way over to Hawaii to see about them because they're inundated with burn patients and stuff.
Mm. Yeah, the burn. Yeah, on the fires and stuff
It
like
was
that.
nasty. It was
Yeah.
real. They were showing people were showing on they that's one good thing about these camera phones. They don't lie. You're gonna see what happened. So yep.
But okay, so with Tyrone, I mean, that's basically what they did with what they're doing with America.
Mm-hmm.
And it
Yep.
kind of feels that the way they kind of use the urban community in a way to do their experiments.
Yeah. That's exactly what they do. Yep. That's exactly what they do. Mm-hmm.
It just seems like, especially with the actors, I could say with that, with Hollywood, you don't see the actors, the black actors, doing something, that is independent. Like they can make their own movie. Like instead of asking for Idris Alba to be a black James Bond, have him do his own Secret Service. Like he's a
Right.
Secret Service for Niger, you know,
Mm-hmm.
or some part of Africa, or just a division that doesn't include James Bond. Okay.
Right. Right.
Or or even like the Little Mermaid. Like I really don't care for
Mm-hmm.
it, but if you're going to do something like that, you know,
Yeah. That's what this guy was saying. The well, I don't want to go there, but there's all this whole universe that we don't see, and people from the Caribbean. I'm sure you've heard mermaid stories, right? Are
yeah.
you were you born in the Caribbean, or your
I
parents
was
were?
born here. I was born. My parents are from the Caribbean,
Oh,
but
okay.
yeah, like mermaids aren't really. When you start reading those stories, mermaids aren't really. They're not really good. 'Cause a lot of people. That's the thing about Disney, and in reality, they don't
Mm-hmm.
tell you that. They don't tell you. Don't. If you read the stories, they're not good.
Right.
I think about. I shouldn't even been talking about the Little Mermaid because they weren't good. They were really. They would. Bring sailors to their death,
Right.
right? And they would
Right. Right.
sometimes eat the sailors. So they not. They weren't really. They
Mm-hmm.
wasn't really good people.
Right. Right. And that was my understanding, that they were, it wasn't like a cute little redhead wanting
Right.
to sing and all this other stuff. That wasn't the case. But yeah. So and I'm from Louisiana, so Louisiana is very spiritual. I'll put it that way.
Yeah,
Like
that's very
like
spiritual. The
it's a lot of
voodoo and
voodoo,
very different.
Haiti, and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So we kind of anyway. I'm not gonna go there, but you know.
Right.
But yeah, no, the new, like, right now the writers in Hollywood are striking, the actors are striking, and
Hmm.
even the actors with a little bit of money is starting to get lean. So everybody's selling their property in Hollywood. So that's about to. I don't see what the real estate gonna do now, because if you go on Realtor.com, in
Hmm.
the hood, a house is $600,000. That's in the hood. It's falling down. Okay, so we're gonna see uh, what it's gonna look like in the next few years. Um, Yeah.
I cringe at that because is if that's the case, it's going to be really much a big ghetto because a lot of it's pricing people out into poverty.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
know,
Mm-hmm. And the thing about it is, even you're pricing even the upper income people out of poverty. Because if my rent is 5,000, but I make 100,000, well, 100,000 not enough,
it's not
and 100,000 puts me in the 1% in the country.
right.
So how do I outdo that? But
You'd have to move to
yeah,
a different. You'd have to move to a different country where the rent is not that high.
yeah.
But you
Well,
have to.
it's states here that where you can, it's very, very affordable to buy a house. Very, very affordable. Um, and people, one lady was like, "Oh, China's buying up everything." I say, even still, I'll say it's still gonna be plenty for us if you want it. It's plenty for us.
Right.
Um,
But you have
and
to have adjustments and stuff.
Yeah, because I mean, first of all, China's birth rate is down. The one child rule made it more men. They're
Hmm.
intermarrying. They're spreading out to other places
Hmm.
other than the U.S. So it's just it's a lot. It's a lot. But yeah, they cloned Tyrone, man. That was a piece of work, though. Sure
It was.
was.
It was. It was a piece of
Mhm.
work. I mean, it really had me thinking because it had parts where the guys were fighting, and the next thing you know, they put on their keyboard, hug each other. I'm like,
Yeah.
wow,
That DJ played with him. The,
yeah,
the the preacher played with him. The
pretty much.
Who else? The chicken place played with them. Had them laughing and stuff, and nothing was funny.
Right. Nothing was funny, and the thing is, just
Mhm.
like, it's really is a big. It's sick, but that's really how it is. It's really that evil. The music, you know,
Mhm.
the
Mhm.
commercials, sometimes even the movies, they put the stuff in plain
Yep.
sight,
Yep.
and I don't. I really
The hair stuff, like how the women are black
right.
women have this lawsuit with the hair relaxers and stuff.
Right, right, right. I was gonna ask you, do you remember a movie called They Live? I've seen
Yeah,
clips.
you know what? I thought about that movie, and when I saw the subliminal message on the billboard, I thought about that movie.
Right. And that's basically what I was thinking about. I'm
Yep.
thinking about, They Live. It's just like you thinking they dancing having fun, but then you put on the shades, they're brainwashed, you
Mhm.
know, mind
Mhm.
control.
Yep.
And it's pretty sad. It's shocking, but it's pretty sad at the same time.
Mhm.
With the Hollywood celebrities, I want to be in the Hollywood. I want to get in, but then when you find out, you may have to bend over. You may have to do some things that go against your
Mhm.
conscience just to get a role.
Yep.
And
Sacrifice some animals.
yeah, or sacrifice yourself.
All that
Yeah,
good voodoo stuff.
yeah.
Yep.
or you basically like DMX was saying one time, dudes have to bend over on the desk and let those dudes play with them.
Oh, DMX said that.
I think it was DMX. One of them loud
Mm.
rappers were saying it was
There's a lot of them that come out and say what's happening in there out there.
right, and
Yeah.
that's that buck breaking. And the thing is, like, it's
Mhm.
not like they putting a gun to your head.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
You are
Now
doing
ain't
wrong.
no reason to do all that now. Even with that, you can go to a stream. If I was a writer, I'd go to a streaming service with my ideas and just sell them. I wouldn't. If you do music, there's so many ways for you to get your music out. I mean, um, I wouldn't even be bothered with that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is like if you want to fight for something, fight. And you know what also got me kind of when I think about it is like you'd had black actors begging for awards. I don't know if you remember that. They were
Yeah,
begging for awards. I'm like, why are you begging? If you haven't acted in like a couple of years, how could you get an award?
yeah.
Right? That
Mhm.
was sad. Why don't you make your own? That's the
Yeah,
thing.
make your own. Yeah, I have that same feeling. Just get your own. Why are you muscling in and telling people that you deserve something that they created? Just get your own. Why bother?
Yeah,
You
the
know?
Africans,
Did
the
Tyler
Africans had
Perry
their own.
acquire BET or not? Because I saw everybody was like, "Oh, he bought it." Then I saw something saying that he came up short
I'm not
of
sure.
the asking price.
I'm not sure about that. But if he does, I mean, that's going to be terrible for tell your kids don't even watch BET. Just tell them don't even watch it. Block it because we all know what's going to be put on there. What type of brainwashing is going to be put on there? Because remember now, he made his music. He made his fortune by being in a dress and acting, being an address and trying to give life lessons. And you had some black men who just said, "This is not the way to go. This ain't cool."
Mm-hmm.
All right. But it's just sad because it's like Clone Tyrone. It's like the black community is the place where you could be a degenerate and it's okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Don't get me
I
wrong. You
would
have
hope
that,
that if Tyler Perry got the acquired BET, that he would be able to bring new talent in. That for me would be the point. Like he can retire himself, retire the dress, and just bring in new talent. Bring in these people with ideas who they're on strike or whatever, and they coming to you with some fresh stuff. You know what I'm saying? Giving them a platform. That's what I would hope. But what do I know?
he's
You know
not
what I'm
going to do
saying? I
that.
ain't no billionaire.
He still writes his own scripts and he's still going to do that dress stuff. That's basically that's him. I saw a TikTok about it. He will not change his route. That's what got him that money, and he's going to do that. And what people don't understand is like that type of stuff is brainwashing to young youth that are, you know, confused, and they want to find acceptance that way. And a lot of black people get mad at me when I talk about this too. That type of, I don't want nothing to happen to your channel. That alternative route is not helping the black community multiply.
Yeah,
It's not.
that's true. Hmm. That's
It's
true.
not
That's
the
the other side that people don't look at when
right.
people talking about, oh, it's a birth, dearth, and all this other stuff. That's what people are not really doing the math on. You know.
Right. And plus the fact of the matter is they got their agents too, like Malik Yoba. He was trying to
Hmm.
push that for a while until some
Hmm.
mess come out about it. He was, Malik Yoba was from New York Undercover back in the day.
Right, I
And,
remember. Hmm.
he was trying to push
Now
that.
Wayne Brady.
Huh?
Hmm. Wayne Brady now.
Yeah, Wayne Brady now. Yeah, yeah. But like I said,
Hmm.
it's Clone Tyrone. All right, Malik Yoba didn't work out. Now we got Wayne Brady. And
Hmm.
this is a serious problem. All right. They pushing this stuff, you know, on us heavily. You have it with other cultures, they push it on there when they trying to push it on us because they don't want us to multiply. They don't want us to have good families. This is what I'm saying. You want to fight this race war. This is the race war in your face that a gun is not going to help.
Yeah.
You're going to have to go back to, family values, and that's it.
Hmm.
Traditional family values. I don't
Yeah.
mean that a woman has to be a Betty Crocker and stuff, but it does mean that the fact that when things have to be handled, that gender roles come in force. That's it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I grew up watching m- men and women work together in their households, so I know how it works. Um, you know, I don't know. I know how it works, and people are talking about uh, all this other stuff about with the gender wars and stuff like that. But you really just got to find somebody which all have the same kind of concept of what you want,
Right.
uh, and everybody got to work together. That's basically what it boils down to, and nobody wants to give up any of their demands. You know what I mean?
Right. Let me ask
Or
you something.
compromise.
Let me ask you something. Do you think black people are raised communists and they don't even know it? In the urban poor black community, do you think black people are raised communists and they don't even know it?
Mm, what would be your definition of communist? What would make,
Like
how would you correlate that?
put it like socialist, like not communist. I shouldn't say. Well, so communism comes right after socialism. Like with socialism, like the government takes care of the sole provider of the people, right? That you should
Hmm.
trust the government. That you know, um, basically going against the family, like basically, uh, gender roles are sexist, and you know, um,
I think that what that is, that's recent. That's recent. And then there
well,
are.
it's been in the making. Like even with oh boy, even with feminism, right?
Hmm.
It's basically to attack the family structure, attack the man. All right, that he's oppressing the woman. Okay, and also in certain writings, how they would say with the like patriarchy is really a detrimental to the family. All right, with basically, oh, it's oppressive to women. Okay, women getting adopted to feminism, especially black women, and saying that you guys are oppressive when you want that patriarchy. Um, it's abusive power, it's oppression when it's not, depending on the man that you pick. All right.
Yeah, well, I have seen women complain. Um, the only the only thing I would agree with on that is if the man is abusive. But if, like, for example, this viral story about the surgeon who gets off and cooks her husband dinner or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
um, I didn't see nothing wrong with it if she likes to do it. If she likes to do it, she getting off from work. Me in my household, if I work hard and my husband work hard, then it just we gonna have to figure out who's gonna do what, and you know, oh, it's your day off or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But I think that some women's had a problem with that because they feel like, oh, well, she worked. Well, the new women are like, oh, well, I want the soft life. I'm feminine, this, that, and the other. And when I look at it, I work in a hospital with a lot of different foreigners because I live in a city with a lot of different foreigners. And I look at their lives and they don't live a soft life. They
Mm-hmm.
work very hard.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if that's some kind of dream or delusion that you're just gonna live, you're gonna paint your nails and you're gonna go to the spa and you're gonna do this and that and the other. And I don't think that that's realistic.
I mean, it can
You're gonna
be if
do
the
that, but you're gonna do that, uh, sparingly. It's not. You're not gonna live this rich woman life. It's not. It's not realistic. It's just not.
well, some women, for some women, I mean, for some women, sadly, for someone, they are living it. There are women who are living it, but of course, that all depends on the man because the man is the one that is allowing her to have those resources. He's the one who has the power to put the
I
power.
would have to see the numbers on how many women, because when you have a
Not
large
all of them, of
percentage of
course not.
women, when you have a large percentage of women talking about they want to live like that, and then this is an expensive city. Everybody in the house got to work. If you can put your kids and your dog to work, you're gonna be putting them to work.
Right.
So uh I don't I just and I'm all for self-care,
Mm-hmm.
going for a massage once in a while or treating yourself. I think that you should enjoy life. Everything shouldn't be a grind.
Mm-hmm.
But just this, I can't tell. I told my niece is 12. I told her, I said, you make sure you want to be a teacher. You make sure you do that now, because you're gonna need a good profession and this and that and the other. And I'll tell my nephew just went to college. I'm gonna get on him too. I don't want no little lazy bum. We're not doing that. You know what I'm saying? So that when I get this little lot for them, they'll know how to maintain it. They don't be so lazy and stupid that they just lose it. You know, so I just don't think that certain things that they look at are realistic. And that's another thing that with the slut walk and all this other stuff. And I told them, I said, you see how Black China is, she putting her clothes on, and Amber Rose is, she's saying that she's gonna tone it down some.
Mm-hmm.
I said they become mothers. And this is all the aunties from the Generation X was trying to tell y'all. Yeah, we had our Freaknik, which I didn't go to. Okay. Ain't nobody got no pictures on me that I know of. Uh but no, I ain't go to Freaknik. But we were pushed more towards like being like the Cosby Kids. Why don't you do that?
Mm-hmm.
Whereas they are like, oh well, go to the strip club. You can make a bag and this, that, and the other, or you do sex work and you can make a bag, but they don't tell you can go to Dubai with all you got to do.
Yeah, but the things what they don't tell you about that is the fact that you have to disappear after you've made your certain amount of money. For some of them, they get this idea that you could do that for a career. You can't do that, and that's why. And
Right. And
the
the internet is forever. So you get that OnlyFans page, you just make sure that your grandkids gonna be all right with that.
yeah, and
So,
that's basically pushed in the community. And
mhm.
they cloned Tyrone. that's what those women were doing, and it's okay. It is
Mhm.
okay. This is what
Mhm.
they are told it's okay, and this is what's pushed in the media, that black women should be put. It's their body, their choice. They should do that. But you don't want to talk about the fact that the risk of they catching STDs, getting
Mhm.
harmed. It was their body, their choice, right? But then when you mention
Mhm.
that, they get mad. I
Yeah.
remember I made videos about that, and people got insanely triggered. But this is what you're saying, and then you want men to accept that, especially black men. Okay, and this is something that's also not talked about sometimes with and some when you have some white women wanting black men. Okay,
Mhm.
what type of level in society were they at with their own men? Okay, all right, and they come over to the black side. What were they like when they were with among their fellow whites? Some of these women were bottom of the barrel. Okay,
Mhm.
so I don't have a problem with interracial relationships. What I'm trying to show you is like this is what they try to push on on uh on black people. Even with Adam 22, when he married an OnlyFans model, and then he wanted to let a black man have sex with his wife. All right. Now what was the character? He was 6 foot dude, really didn't, kind of a little ignorant. And this is what the type of degenerate behavior they push in your face. And who is Adam at 22 hanging out with? Other black men. What are they joking
Mhm.
about? This type of stuff. Cuckold.
Mhm.
All right.
Mhm.
This is something that is seen to be normal. All right.
Mhm. And then too, you have to try to tell the black girls, baby, you can't do that. You can't go out and do the OnlyFans and the porn and think that you're gonna grab a multimillionaire husband. No, that's her. That's not you.
Right. And
No, yeah.
even if it was, you don't want her type of history. Why would you?
Yeah, the Kim Kardashians, that's them. That's not you.
Right.
That's not the
Let
same
them.
game.
It's not the same game. And the fact you don't want that. I don't care if you're black, white, Puerto Rican, Chinese. You don't want that. You don't want that following you everywhere you
Mhm.
go. You don't want
Mhm.
people when they look at you,
Because
they
even
think
now
you're
she's trying to upgrade into a Tom Brady, and they like, oh no, you're not. Oh no, you with your history. Oh no, ma'am.
no,
The people, they love them some Tom Brady. No, no, ma'am. No, ma'am.
no,
Nope.
no. That's not possible.
Hmm.
It's not gonna happen. I mean, this is a lot of things too. They say, oh, women, a black, I could do whatever I want. It's my body. I'm living my best life. They don't tell you that men with means, men, not the men that are just scumbags who got rich. I'm talking about men who actually have serious means. They don't want a woman that's been in everyone's mouth. They don't tell you
Nope.
that. And that's
Nope.
those old school standards, they mean something.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and I'll tell you too. I tell women this all the time. When I go to conventions and different places where I'm meeting business people and people on farms and technology and stuff like that, and like big money, um, their wives are not dimes. Their wives on a Kevin Samuel scale probably be a 4 or 5,
Hmm.
and they wear their drawers on their head. You can't tell them nothing. They'll they'll beat you down by their wife, right?
Hmm.
Because she was there when Jeff Bezos she was there when he was
Right,
delivering his
right,
Honda
right,
Accord. Okay,
right. And
so it's all I don't know. It's a fantasy. It's a fantasy, is what it is.
and that's another thing I have with these, like my issue with these some of these content creators like Kevin Samuels, Andrew Tate. Like I said, Clone Tyrone, right? Kevin
Hmm.
Samuels, he was telling things, yeah, work hard. Before you go with a woman, work hard before you look for a woman. Get yourself together, right? He said
Hmm.
those things. He also said that if you're a high value, hey, you got to accept the fact that he may cheat. He got, he should have a right to exercise his options. It's a benefits package. Now, what is
Hmm.
that? How does that help the black community? Now, I've asked black men on that blue app, and oh, all right, I'll just wait till she comes back.
I'm still here. I'm just listening. I'm
Oh yeah,
muting.
yeah. Um, so my thing is like I asked him on this blue app, how does this help the black community? He says he's about bringing black marriages together, but you keeping a division at the same time. Okay, how does this help? And when you ask black men this, they try to deny. He didn't say that. You're talking out of context. You're talking about the fact he's saying that the fact that if you get with a high value man, he might cheat. You just got to accept it. All high value men cheat? I don't think so. That's my thing. So when I'm seeing this, like I said, it's Cloned Tyrone. And then when he passed, you had another one, Andrew
Yeah,
Tate.
you're right. All high value men don't cheat.
Right. But and the thing is, notice how you say, well, if you get with a high value woman and she's ambitious, you just got to accept the fact that she may bend over for the boss once in a while. I'm sorry, but that's just the benefit package of being with a high value woman. Then you're gonna see them have a knee jerk reaction. They start crying, like, "Oh no, man, no, she can't do that." How does that help the black community?
Yeah, that's not true. Look at the surgeon who cooks for her husband after a 13-hour shift on her feet.
Right.
You know, so that's not necessarily true.
Yeah, I mean, this is the things that I'm seeing. It's like, this is nonsense. How does this help? This is put in division, and the guys who are falling, who are, he goes with I'm seeing the demographics. Some of these men, I say most of them, these guys probably don't have it together. These guys probably just want the right to hear that they can cheat. They don't want to hear that they have to work for things. They don't want to hear that he just following the demographic of, I'm saying, pookies. And the same thing with Andrew Tate. He talks about, yeah, men have to work. You got to be courageous. You got to fight. You got to be the one to take care of your family. And then in the next breath, he's saying, who would you rather sleep with? A transformer woman who looks like Megan Fox, or a transformer man that looks like Hulk Hogan? He just went from like saying you're supposed to be an alpha male to doing some game crap. What are you talking about here?
Yeah, it's true. Give me 1 second.
Uh-huh.
Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, so I'm like, what is it? 1 minute he's talking about, it's the same thing with Kevin Samuels. 1 minute he's talking about men uplifting men to push them to do the right thing and to better themselves. Another minute you're talking about some alphabet stuff. I mean, what is it?
Right.
And
right.
And I'm thinking like they're trying to introduce, they're trying to normalize that type of behavior into the community.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. You're trying to groom these men into pussy.
To hate women, and the women to hate men. Yeah. Yep. That's exactly what it is. It's an agenda.
That's what I'm seeing here.
And then while we fight each other, they doing all kind of crap up and through around here,
Right.
Yeah.
And there are people saying, well, he is doing well. He's trying to help men. How is he trying to help men? By trying to train them to be sex traffickers.
Mm-hmm.
If you go to the war room, you will see that. And he's trying to train men to be traffickers. So imagine a black man, a young black man in his 20s or in his teens listening to that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Who doesn't have a father to steer him in the right direction? Yeah.
Who's 6 foot, muscular, has some muscle, who could fight, and he doesn't have a father, or he has low self-esteem, and he's listening to this.
And
he's nice on the eyes to the females, and he's listening to this. That person is dangerous.
Yep.
You're giving him confidence in the wrong direction. He'll find a bunch of other his peers, and he'll be talking to some girls, and boom, some girls who probably don't have a father or a strong mother in the house, and boom, now you got a trafficking ring going.
Yep. And that's why you're starting to see so many young people ran through, and they look more older than I do.
Right.
You try to steer them and give them a way on how to live clean and have a better quality of life, and they're just like, no, they don't want to live that square life. You're not cool. Okay. All right.
I don't know. I mean, living, I don't think it was ever meant to be cool. It's just being able to handle yourself.
Yeah, no, no. For them, it's about being cool, and that's why for a long time they didn't want to hear from us aunties about that lifestyle and not doing that because in the end you don't win, you lose. So same thing with the clone Tyrones with the drug, you know.
Mhm.
In the end you don't win, you lose. So you know, but they a lot of them you can't tell them nothing. If I tell you, you got I got a trade job over here for you for 150,000. You say, well, but I got to work. Well, how is Big Booty Keisha gonna? Big Booty Keisha wants me to on the block, you know. Well, but yeah, you're gonna be making more than on the block, and it's gonna be legal. Because when I found out how much they make, I'm like, damn. And then you risking your life, you risking your freedom, and then they just take the money back. Tell me where you win at.
That's
Show
what
me
I'm
where you
saying.
win.
That's what I'm saying. They're not showing that. And the thing is, it's like, remember the young thug trial when he was trying to ask his fans to protest for him. He has that much control. I like they clone Tyrone. He has that
Hmm.
much control, and
Hmm.
other rappers are coming behind like, don't let them use our music in these cases. They're trying to brainwash the youth to go against the
Hmm.
law.
Hmm.
They know
Yep.
the influence they got.
That's why this movie was so profound, because it showed you the messages, the subliminal messages in the music. That was another one of the things that they did.
Right. They were all like this dancing, then all of a sudden they just slow.
Hmm.
And then
Or when they were in the car and he said, "Don't play that song. It makes me go to sleep."
right, right, right.
Yeah.
And then it's like when they were trying to leave the club, the guy and the DJ was saying, "I got one last thing for you guys to do," and they running after them. They chasing
Hmm.
them.
Hmm.
Like, yo,
Hmm.
but
That it's same hypnosis that Jordan Peele put in the movie Get Out, and also Jordan Peele touched on cloning in Us. So his
oh really?
movies are a little bit more, yeah, because it was the underground that was a cloning facility. All those people were clones. So it's his movies are a little bit more coded
Mm.
than because people didn't like Us, but I say, oh, I get it, I get it. But this one was in your face. Like you got to be real dumb not to pick up on the cues on this one.
Yeah, you do. Because I was seeing it, I'm like, yo, I'm seeing all of it. I'm seeing they had this one girl with her eyes were forced open, and she was looking at everything. And I don't know
Mm-hmm.
what exactly they were brainwashing her with, or maybe I saw a lot of white people on the screen that was flashing before. Maybe they were trying to make her think that revised history, or thinking that, um, you know, I guess white supremacy is good. That's how I see it.
Yep.
Because I see it with Dennis Prager. Dennis Prager, he was going on there saying, well, he wasn't in They Clone Tyrone, but I'm just, everything I did a lot of live streams, and this week, and I one
Mm-hmm.
that, you're saying like, oh, well, slavery wasn't that bad. There were good slave masters and there were bad slave masters. Doesn't matter. It was still bad.
It
Okay.
was involuntary servitude. If they went there and put a job application in and say, "Can I?" And then I live in the little shacks that you got over here, that's different. But when
Right.
you grabbing people and
Minus the
kidnapping people and
abuse.
stuff and keeping them and then selling their children off, that's a different kind of,
Right.
no.
Right. And they're like Dennis Prager right now. I don't know if you know, he's trying to rewrite, have a white revisionist history of Black history in Florida, of history period in Florida. And they have this little cartoon where like Columbus was a good guy and he fought off natives that were savages, twisting it and making lies.
I saw that.
Yeah.
I saw a piece of it, but I mean,
Yeah.
I'm really about. I don't have kids, but I really am about people teaching their kids what really happened. Teach your kids what really happened. It's incumbent upon you. I went to the library,
Hmm.
and in those days we didn't have Google. I had to get up and go, walk to the library or ride my bike or whatever to the library to read about Black history. And you got parents now that they just not interested in that. They're not interested in teaching their kids anything. They're not interested. Nothing interests them. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's wild, man. It's I don't even know how to put it, man, because this sucker was um I mean, it feels like you're living it. That's what it feels like a lot. You know.
Yeah, yeah, it was real deep. I really enjoyed this movie. I really hope whoever did this movie does some more material because I really am looking forward to what they got to do next.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but thank you so much for joining me.
Oh, no problem. No problem. It was a pleasure.
I got to hook up with you again because there's some other issues. Um, so I'll grab you again in Messenger and we will look at our schedules and see what we can do.
Okay. Not a problem. Not a problem. I'll try to, just send me a link to your channel so I could put it on my channel.
Okay. All right. Yeah, because I'm under the radar. I haven't been. I got more TikTok followers, but I actually like YouTube better. But I've just got to upload more stuff here because it's been rough trying to maintain and juggle everything.
Oh, okay. Like I was trying to look up your channel and I couldn't find it.
Yeah, I'm gonna send you the link. Yeah, you can't find it. Of course, you know, I'm way below the radar, and you see what kind of commentary I talk about. So, I'm not shucking and jiving and foolishness. I don't rock like that.
Yeah,
You know,
like I said, that's how it is. Clone Tyrone.
ain't no cloning Tyrone over here.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, thanks a lot.
Oh, no
I'll
problem.
hit you
Anytime.
back.
All right.